And that's right. That was Brazil. And no, your clocks aren't wrong. It is 7:30, and this is Cinema Hits and Misses. This is Dawn.
And Ryan.
And
John.
There you are, John. Yay.
Yay.
Hey.
Yes.
We're here early tonight. We want to thank Duke Harrington because Nuremberg News lent us a half hour so that we could bring you an hour-long Oscar pre-show. Woo! And you're tuned into WMPG 90.9 FM and WMPG.org. You want to give us a call? We are live actually till 8:30 tonight at 780-4909. That's 780-4909. And, John, Ryan, and I type back and forth. Obviously we want to talk about the Oscars. We talked about the movies, but there's so much. Mm-hmm. So we picked 12 categories. And so over the next hour, we're going to be talking about several of them.
Yeah.
And Ryan, you want to kick it off? What are we going to talk about first?
So our first category, it will be original screenplay. And the nominees are La La Land, written by Damien Chazelle. Hell or High Water, written by Taylor Sheridan. The Lobster, written by Yorgos Lanthimos and Ephanis Philippine. Manchester by the Sea, written by Kenneth Lonergan. And 20th Century Women, written by Mike Mills.
And I think we went with original screenplay because we don't know the adapted
works
as well.
Yeah, that was my understanding for it.
Yeah, and of course we all like to write.
Yes, we do.
So John, original screenplay. What do you think? What do you hope for?
Well, I've been hearing a bunch of different things. I've been hearing a lot of people say about Manchester by the Sea certainly having a shot. I actually looked at the Writers Guild Awards because sometimes, if you want to get a good gauge of like what could possibly win, it's the guild. So it could be like the Writers Guild, the Screen Actors Guild, Directors Guild, Producers Guild, etc. Whatever fits the category. And really, none of these appeared on the list. Like none of them won at least. But Manchester was nominated, and so was Hell or High Water. So I don't know. I had to really think about that. And for me, it's between either Manchester or Hell or High Water. I thought those two had the strongest scripts. I felt like there's a lot of real moments in there, obviously some for different reasons. You got Hell or High Water definitely had a lot more comedic writing, and Manchester certainly did too at points. But I think Manchester's script certainly dealt with, tragedy and grief in such a way that it's powerful. But I'm kind of hoping for Hell or High Water, but I'm definitely okay with Manchester.
I think I'm in the same boat, John. I mean, obviously, those are two very tight scripts, and I love the modern Western take of Hell or High Water. I think what tips it for me for Manchester, hey, it's a New England movie.
Yeah.
I know people who worked on it. I want this
Bias.
one. Well, that's okay. It's opinion, right?
Yeah.
But, obviously, I think it was also very well written.
Yeah. I think for me, definitely Manchester by the Sea. I do have La La Land because I did enjoy the writing of that, but I think Manchester by the Sea, also the dialogue, with interviews with a lot of the cast when asking about even the subtleties of the ums and everything that we would think would be an addition to it were all carefully written for the script. So it makes it feel more real and more, I guess, even subtle for some of the dialogue, that it's all on script, on page.
Yeah, it's, of them, again, those two movies, I think, were the ones that had me the most wrapped into the characters. I mean, 20th Century Women was also very well done, and I applaud that. But I think one of those other two, either Hell or High Water or Manchester, just tighter, and I'm going to lean towards Manchester.
The Lobster was good, but I think the way that the dialogue was very similar for all the characters. It was kind of not flat, but it was monotone. And yeah, I definitely think Manchester kind of pushes it.
Yeah, so we have our first category. Anything else to say about original screenplay?
No, I think.
All right.
No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And to our listeners, what we're trying to do is the order that we've chosen is kind of what the Academy Award has done in the past. So, of course, Best Picture will be at the end,
Yes.
and as will the big acting awards, kind of like the bigger 9. But
Mm-hmm.
moving to category 2, actress in a supporting role. We have Viola Davis in Fences, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, Nicole Kidman for Lion, Octavia Spencer, Hidden Figures, and Michelle Williams by Manchester by the Sea. What do you guys think?
I really liked Michelle Williams in Manchester by the Sea, but I think Viola Davis is gonna get it, especially for how much, especially like in the trailer for Fences, there's a specific scene that they show over and over again of her that I think is what will have her win it. When she is explaining to Denzel's character how she's been supporting him their entire marriage together, and I think that is what will get her the win.
I think
Yeah.
I'm leaning there with you too, Ryan. What do you have, John?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say this is probably one of the few categories where I believe there is an absolute lock. Now, I mean, of course, you could question. I feel like she could have been nominated for the lead actress, but obviously it's the studios that decide, what should be placed under what category. So, I'm kind of hoping for Naomi Harris. I don't really think that's going to happen because I wish Moonlight would definitely get some more recognition, especially along the acting department. I thought like the entire cast is great, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But for this, I definitely think it'll be Viola Davis. If it's anyone else, I'm going to be genuinely shocked.
Yeah, I would be surprised too, both because I think out of any of the actress categories, I think she just danced around anyone else. And, I think there's also, I would call the Leonardo DiCaprio effect, that she's been in so many great roles that either have been missed or haven't won, that this may be, this is finally her year.
Yeah.
We can get around this. And, that's where I have some problems with some of the balloting at times, but, I really am rooting for her. I love the other ladies in the category. I mean, I'm with you, John. Naomi Harris, I think, did well. Nicole Kidman brought me back in Lion. I mean, I was off her for a while, and Lion really brought me back. Michelle Williams, very small role, but very pivotal. And Octavia Spencer. Octavia Spencer, I loved Hidden Figures, so I could go with any of it, but I'm really rooting for
And it's cool that Viola Davis and Octavia Spencer are up against each other when they were both in The Help a few years ago.
Yeah, and it would have been the same if she'd gotten into the
Supporting the actress
role.
because Emma Stone was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you're just tuning in to the show, we are here early on Cinema Hits and Misses. John, Ryan, and Dawn. We're here with our Oscar show. Duke and Nuremberg News gave us an extra half hour, so we are live here in the studio from 7:30 to 8:30 tonight. If you want to join the conversation about Oscars, it's 780-4909. That's 780-4909. What's next, Ryan?
So next we're up to costume design, and we have Allied, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Florence Foster Jenkins, Jackie, and La La Land. So Dawn, where do you stand?
Well, given my length of movies, I could go with any of these, but for me it's Fantastic Beasts because, again, it's over the top in that pre-Harry Potter world, magical, mystical. The characters so enveloped in their outer garments that I think that did well. I mean, any of these I think could do well, but for me it's fantastic.
How about you, John?
Well, so I decided to do some research. Like I said, I kind of looked at as many guilds as I could, and I found the Costuming Guild, and La La Land was on there as a selection. So I'm going to go with that because there was also a selection for, I believe it was a category for a period piece, and Fantastic Beasts was not on there. Neither was Jackie. Neither was Allied. In fact, I believe it was Hidden Figures, if I read that correctly. I might have to double check that, but
I could see that.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely certain about La La Land.
I agree that I think La La Land will probably get it, but my favorite was probably Jackie. Again, kind of Dawn and how Dawn and I talked, and John, you brought up that about the period pieces, that a majority of these, except for La La Land, are period pieces, so their costume was costume design is very prominent in their films, but Jackie, I kind of like the 60s wardrobe that they did very well.
Yeah, so we're mixed on that. It's going to be a pleasant surprise to
Yes.
see where this one comes from, because I don't think there's any loser in this one, because I think most of them did well.
Mm-hmm.
So costume, we'll see. Next, a category that's, for those of us who've been behind the camera a little bit, cinematography, and I have the names of the films. Do you have the cinematographers?
I
right?
do.
Okay, so Arrival,
Bradford Young,
La La Land,
Linus Sagan,
Lion,
Greg Fraser,
Moonlight,
James Lackton,
Silence.
Rodrigo Paristio.
Okay, and I think of us, only John saw
John
Silence.
saw Silence, yep.
So, John, you've seen all 5 of these.
I have, yes.
Where
this
would
is definitely a difficult one. I thought they were all certainly great in their own way. And certainly, Moonlight took some chances with this, very blurry depth of field kind of approach, almost making it seem, not only did it narrow the focus for the viewer to focus on the specific thing, but it also just gave it this dreamlike quality to it. But for me, it's got to be La La Land. The fact that they had to they pretty much for a majority of the musical numbers, they kept the camera rolling. And I'm not saying that's always the way how best cinematography should work, but when you have choreography on top of that and dancing and all that, I was impressed, especially from the opening number where they had to shoot that on the highway and it's all one take, and I think even longer after that. I was just really impressed. So I'm going with La La Land for cinematography.
And I think for the same reasons, John, I'm going to go with you for La La Land. That opening scene is amazing. And if you know anything about production, to know all the pieces that you had to get into place, and if that person behind the lens isn't on top of his or her game, then, you've lost this fantastic shot. So, that, if I looked at just that shot, it would be La La Land.
I think definitely La La Land. I had also Arrival, just because I loved the how up close and blurred it was. The cinematography was very close to Sicario, which was the director's other film, and that had really good cinematography as well. But yeah, definitely La La Land. I would also say the scene when Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are tap dancing, because all the color was all in camera. So that one they had to shoot. They only had 30 minutes of sunset, and they had 2 nights to shoot it. And just seeing that sequence and how beautifully colorful the whole film is, I would again put La La Land for that.
It's hard to beat that. I wouldn't be upset if Lion got it as well. The bleakness, especially what Saru sees, young Saru in his journey, and then the older Saru in the lushness of what he's trying to find out in Australia. I think they did well with that, But I think that tipping point might go to La La. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have anything else about cinematography, guys?
No, I think John.
No, I think that's pretty much it. I will say, like I said, I have seen all of them, and I definitely agree with the nominations for sure.
So up next, we have visual effects. And for that, we have Deepwater Horizon, Doctor Strange, The Jungle Book, Kubo and the Two Strings, and Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Now, what I really like about this category is there's a lot more mainstream movies in this category, which I was very happy to see. So, John, what do you think about this category?
This is definitely very difficult. There's some great visual effects all around. I love Doctor Strange's visuals and the way it was mind-bending, not to take puns and how the film tried to be,
right.
But the way they got that, those visuals are just insane. I don't think it will win, but I just do want to say Doctor Strange's visuals definitely stood out to me. I think it will be The Jungle Book. Now, when I saw the trailer back in January or February, I was kind of like, oh, this looks good. We'll see how it plays out. And really, it's quite impressive what they were able to do. It's almost like, I think probably the only thing before this that was impressive, or to me, was the Planet of the Apes movie, where you have everyone in mocap, and it almost feels like they're real apes. And I feel like Jon Favreau and his team were able to get it was such an incredible job. It felt real for most of it, and the only thing really that's real is the kid and whatever he touches. So,
yeah,
I think it's that. But I also think I have a little bit of a hope for Kubo and the Two Strings. I know we're going to be talking about animated films in just a bit, but I feel like there could be a chance. I don't think there will, but I would almost like it if Kubo got the win for visual effects, if it does not win for animated film.
Mm-hmm.
John, you're my brother from another mother. It's again, I because I think the genre is so maligned, the superhero genre, that Doctor Strange was above and beyond a lot that we see. And, it kind of had tones of Inception with the bending walls and the motion. And so that, it just... I was enthralled by it, and I saw it twice. And, I get why Jungle Book might win because, the animals were very realistic.
Yep.
And, the characteristics of the actors, the vocal actors who portrayed them, the mannerisms as well. And, again, I hold out also for Kubo because that stop motion was stunning and... again, we'll talk about this in our next feature, but it was just one that to see an audience so enthralled by it, young kids enthralled by what was going on the screen, it's like, what better plug for it? What say you, Ryan?
I'm going to say the Jungle Book. Kind of what you touched upon, how realistic it looks. I do have Kubo, so... we all do share that it's stunning, and especially at the end during the credits, you see how big these set pieces were. I do like the effects in Doctor Strange. It was really compared to all the other Marvel movies. It raised the bar for what they were able to do, and it adapted from the comics so well. One of the other ones I don't think will win, but it's good that they put it, was Deepwater Horizon, because a majority of especially the explosions weren't real, but it looked surprisingly real. Right,
and the visualization of the underwater connections that they showed. These are the parts that you didn't expect. You saw the above the water disaster, what have you. To see that underwater cinematography, the effects of the escaping gases and the pressure building, I think they did well there. So, and for as much as I love Star Wars, it was okay.
Yeah.
But so that one won't disappoint me if it doesn't win. And
I think the only thing that was cool was when the AT-ATs were on the beach. And that looked real, I think. But I'm guessing that's where they pulled from because of the ads.
Yeah. And if you're just tuning into WMPG and you're hearing voices you didn't quite expect, you've got Dawn, Ryan, and John from Cinema Hits and Misses. We started a little early tonight because Duke gave us an extra half hour to talk about Oscars. If you're interested in joining the conversation, we're going to be moving on to animated feature. We're live here till 8:30 as we move through the categories. The number is 780-4909. That's 780-4909. So, animated feature. I'm so glad it has its own category. Some of these I think could go into Best Pictures, but they've got their own. So we've got 5 here. We've got Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, My Life as a Zucchini, The Red Turtle, and Zootopia. Now, I admit I haven't seen 2 of these. I didn't see Zucchini or Turtle.
Yep.
Likewise.
Yeah, so I saw Kubo, Moana, and Zootopia. And what do you guys think? Of the 3?
I also have not seen Zucchini or Turtle, but I've seen the trailer for The Red Turtle. And it looks fantastic. But you have 2 Disney movies on here. I love Kubo and the Two Strings, and I wish it would win because it's a stop-motion animated movie, and the story was fantastic. But I think Zootopia would take it just because of the cultural significance of the story. Even though Moana was very well made, it's cool to see two Disney movies go up against each other. But I think it'd be Zootopia. I would like it to be Kubo, though. How about you, Don?
I'm rooting for Kubo. I really am, because I think that, again, like you, I like Moana. I like Zootopia. House of Mouse does movies well. Kubo, I think, was just such a well-told tale in such a visually stunning way. And the vocal talents, I think, did well. I mean, yeah, Matthew McConaughey and Julia Roberts, you got over that.
Yep.
So you got beyond that. It's just this great story of a journey. And, yeah, Zootopia, I think, is going to win, but my heart's with Kubo.
Yep.
John?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with the rest of you. I looked at the Producers Guild Awards, and Zootopia had won for that. And so I feel like that almost kind of cements that. Well, it also won the Globe, too. But it also kind of like cements the fact I think that Zootopia will win, as much as I would love Kubo to win as well. But like I said, I think if it could be almost like this thing, you hear things sometimes of like a certain best picture gets picked and then like a director from a different film wins. I don't know. We've seen that happen before. I feel like that kind of effect could happen. I don't know if it will.
It happened last year.
So I mean,
yeah, it did.
I'm glad, I guess, that Kubo even got recognition at all. It's certainly one of the more overlooked films of last year. I kept telling people about it, like, you need to see this. This is actually like really, it's impressive, the animation. I'm just like watching the whole thing, and then with the after credits or the credits where it shows like how they did it, I just stand there in awe. It's just like this is unbelievable. So, but yes, I'm gonna stick with what I think will probably win, and it's gonna probably be Zootopia.
Yeah.
But still a great movie. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to hold Kubo on like that high of a pedestal. It's great. They're all great, I think, except for the ones obviously that I haven't seen. I can't really say about those, but I thought, all the movies that have been nominated were great. So
yeah, and I think
it probably will be Zootopia.
Yeah, and what's really great with Lenka is that Lenka is the production company that does Kubo, Box Trolls, Coraline, and Paranorman, and each one, I think a few of them have been Oscar nominated in the past, and it just shows the caliber of talent that company has and how young it is compared to Disney, that it's able to stand up to this. And what I would like to say with the two ones we didn't see, I'm happy they're on it because they're both 2D animated films, because we don't get many of those today, and they both I'm glad that we still have some 2D either hand-drawn animated movies along with CGI animated movies.
Yeah, and again, beyond my love of Kubo, just being in a full theater. I was in a dine-in theater at Smitty's, and it was one very mixed crowd skewing towards the younger audience, and for that audience to be as the lesser degree of distraction that I've gone to animated movies where kids will like it, but it's that blend for parents and kids. For this to hit on kind of like both demographics, it was just so telling for me, and we'll see what happens. So, any final thoughts on that one, John?
No, I think pretty much covered everything.
All right. What you got now, Ryan?
So we are now acting in a supporting role, and we have Mahershala Ali for Moonlight, Jeff Bridges for Hell or High Water, Lucas Hedges for Manchester by the Sea, Dev Patel for Lion, and Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals. So John, what do you think?
So this is also a category I'm fairly certain in. Like the supporting actress, I think it will be Mahershala Ali. He won the SAG. So I believe he has it hands down, and he was great for his short amount of time. He made it quite a deep impact on the entire film. But I will say, if there's anyone I think that could like slip by him, I think Michael Shannon has a chance. Mostly because I have a little bit of a bias towards Nocturnal Animals. To me, it was like what Creed was last year in the sense it didn't get that many nominations in total. So even just a win would be nice. But I think it'll be Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, I mean, there was no bad performance here.
Mm-hmm.
It was really tough. So it's that degree of separation of them. And, I think I adored the Mahershala Ali character so well.
Yep.
It was small, but it was so integral to Chiron's life that, you had this character who caused impact in that performance. And it could have been a very stereotypical role.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of writing, directing, and the performance. So I think he did well. Of course, I could also hold out that where I like Lion, that Dev Patel could do well, and like you said, Michael Shannon was really good in Nocturnal Animals. But I think this is one from Mahershala Ali, and it's the top of the hour, and if you hear us talking, you don't hear the music. You do have cinema hits and misses. We started a little early tonight because we've got an hour-long show. John, Ryan, and Dawn here talking about the Oscars, and just to recap. Actors in a supporting role if you're just tuning in.
Yep, and those actors are Mahershala Ali for Moonlight, Jeff Bridges for Hell or High Water, Lucas Hedges for Manchester by the Sea, Dev Patel for Lion, and Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals.
And I think that we've all pretty much think that it could be Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, and I think I would definitely go on with what Don and John have said about the impact of his character, because even though he's only in the beginning, his character is kind of, without being there, he's in the whole movie. Either like call back to, or you see how the lead was developed by him, and that there's always talks about him, because it's later on in the lead's life that and it always comes back to him. Yeah, I think I didn't see Nocturnal Animals. I thought Jeff Bridges was good in Hell or High Water. It'd be cool to see Lucas Hedges get it. I don't think he will, but I think with him and Casey Affleck, he did a really phenomenal job, especially being so young.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think people have said that both Michelle Williams and Lucas Hedges, their performances made Casey Affleck happen.
Yeah.
Because he had that performance. And for such a young talent, it was such a solid role. And that, the dual nature of loss, but also of being a teenager. And don't mess with my life.
Yeah, there's like humor moments in it. There's one sequence in it that you see, because he doesn't show emotion at the beginning of the film, but there's one sequence in which he breaks down. But then, like, 2 scenes later, there's a dialogue between him and Casey that kind of cuts the tension, and it kind of makes you laugh, which is good for that movie.
Yeah, and that's Manchester by the Sea, if you missed it. John, anything else about actor in a supporting role?
I feel like we have covered pretty much everything. I know some talks have been saying, if there's anyone that could also slip by, it could be Jeff Bridges. He's kind of like Meryl Streep in the regards, like, he's so, I'm trying to think of the word, but, he's so well known and adored.
So deserving.
And he was great in it, too. Like, nothing to, like, knock the performance or anything. I definitely agree with all the nominations across the board. So, but I honestly think Mahershala's got it in a lock. If there's, kind of like with supporting actors, if it's anyone else, I will be genuinely surprised.
Mm-hmm. All right, Don, what's the next category?
We have original song. And I have the names in the movies, and do you have the auteurs? Okay, all right. So we have original songs. First one being Audition, The Fools Who Dream, which is from La La Land. Can't Stop the Feeling, Trolls. And that one I know is Justin Timberlake.
Yep.
City of Stars from La La Land. The Empty Chair, Jim the James Foley Story. And How Far I'll Go from Moana. And that's Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yep.
So I knew 2 of them.
Yes.
All right. So we decided to go song instead of score because I think score, of course, is very important going through the movie, but we think what would people recognize more? So the songs we thought maybe. What do you think, guys?
I think with any category that La La Land deserves the most, since it is a musical, I would say La La Land. What's cool is before the nominees came out, John and I were talking about other movies that had multiple songs nominated, and The Lion King came up. And I think it will be City of Stars. Don and I had talked about it before the show, that it kind of encapsulates the film and the themes of the film more than Audition, because Audition wraps up the film and kind of is more of a character song for Emma Stone's character, while City of Stars is for both of the characters. I will say, though, I do love Can't Stop the Feeling from Trolls. I know that will not win, but John knows when we drive that every time that song comes on, I will dance to it. They did a good marketing campaign with that song. I will say that. They did exactly what they did with Let It Go for Frozen. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be either of the ones from La La Land. I mean, you're probably right, Ryan. I think it could be City of Stars, though my heart is going towards Audition. That is just a powerhouse song that really got to me emotionally. So I want that to win. But, I mean, if either song gets picked, I'll be happy.
Yeah. And, you know, those few notes on the piano. Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. You know, so that's a thread through the movie, too. So that, yeah, again, I could go with either one of them, but I'm leaning more towards City of Stars because I you know, that chord through. So I think it's going to be one of those two. Could be surprised.
Yep. Lin-Manuel could win. He's definitely won multiple awards in the past for his work on Broadway.
And it was a good song.
It was a good song. I think if La La Land hadn't come out, I think he would have had a really good shot. But since La La Land, they're both musicals, but La La Land kind of, I don't know. I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Ryan. I know there's a group of people online that are really hoping that Lin-Manuel Miranda will get his EGOT, and that which is Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony,
which he only needs an
which
Oscar.
That'd be cool. But I mean, there's definitely, I think really La La Land just has it in the bag. I'm definitely rooting for him to definitely get it someday because that'd be sweet. It's always nice to get the EGOT.
And he would be the youngest one.
Yeah, he would be the youngest one.
Yeah, he would.
All right. And the next category is, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Cinema Hits and Misses with Don, John, and Ryan. And we have been talking about the Oscars. We started a half hour early. And now we will be moving on to the directors. And we have Denis Villeneuve for Arrival, Mel Gibson, Hacksaw Ridge, Damon Chazelle, La La Land, Kent Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, and Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. So what do you guys think for director?
I'm going to throw my hat in for Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. To carry 3 separate narratives, all the talent, and to make a cohesive story for this different stages of the young man's life. I mean, I know that obviously there are other ensemble movies here, but for that much focus on this one character or 2 characters, I just thought it was so well done. And of course, I could also go for Damien Chazelle with all the grandeur, but I'm for Barry Jenkins.
How about you, John?
So, Damien did win the Director Guild Award, so that's what makes me think he could have it. But I do think another scenario could play out. Like I said in the past, there's been situations where there's been a best film that's won, but then there's another where a director from a different film is won. So actually, let's take last year, for example, where Spotlight won Best Picture, but
Alejandro
Inarritu won for The Revenant for directing. So I think that situation could happen. I think, and I agree with you, Don, the performances and the consistency like throughout the entire thing, making each actor feel like they are part of the same character is incredible. So I'm rooting for Barry Jenkins, though I think it'll be Damien Chazelle. We'll have to see what happens, but you never know. I think it could be either one.
So what's really interesting about this category is that you have 3 writer-directors. which when you have a writer-director, they have much more control than directors tend to. Those would be Barry Jenkins for Moonlight, Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, and Damien Chazelle for La La Land. And usually when that happens, in the past we've had directors like Quentin Tarantino and other ones that are slipping my name, but Tarantino is one in my head that comes first.
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, yes, sorry, yeah, of course, Christopher Nolan. I would say I agree with you guys about Moonlight, but I think what's interesting with Damien Chazelle, because I've been thinking about this category for the show, and there are two different movies, and Barry Jenkins is very much for performances and for the storytelling, which Damien Chazelle also does, but Damien Chazelle also has the scope, and he had to work with a few like dancing choreographers and this thing he had in his head that was so big. And I think if someone had pitched this idea, people think, oh, this is just even the opening, like, this is crazy. How are you going to get all these people on a highway dancing? And then all these different beautiful shots.
And that is a busy highway.
It's a very busy highway. And of course, making movies is a team effort. I think Chazelle might get it, which I would be happy either way because they're both very young directors and they have a very high, good career ahead of them. And I believe this is his second. Is this his second? It might be his second nomination for, because I believe Whiplash. He got nominated for Best Picture for. So, for the other nominees, they all did very well. Mm-hmm. But I think it's either those two. But I'm rooting for Chazelle.
Yeah, I mean Kenneth Lonergan, to take a subject that could be very disheartening and very depressing, and to help inflect some humor and just this, the pacing of it. So he could very easily you stand with that. I mean Villeneuve.
Yep.
I apologize for that. Arrival.
Yeah.
I thought very well. And, whatever aside, filmmaker Mel Gibson is back.
Yes.
As a filmmaker, he is an excellent director. Mm-hmm. And the film was very well done.
But it's between those two, and it's...
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be tough to beat Chazelle or Jenkins.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else for that category, John?
No, I think we've covered it quite extensively.
Ooh, now we're going into the top three, and we haven't had the music for top four, and we haven't had music play us off yet.
No. And the show's definitely not as long as the Oscars are.
Right. So.
Oh man.
Okay, so the next category, Don.
Actress in a leading role.
Yes.
So we have actress in a leading role. Isabelle Huppert for Elle, Ruth Negga for Loving, Natalie Portman for Jackie, Emma Stone for La La Land, Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins. Now, I'll admit, I haven't seen Elle yet. It is actually coming to Nickelodeon.
Oh, great.
So,
yep, I was going to say that.
Okay. So, for all of us who are going, all right, so why is she getting nominated for this and winning certain things? It is coming for us to see. So, of the ones that we've seen, what do you think, guys?
Well, there's a lot of talks that Emma Stone could get it, which she won the Golden Globe. But I'm kind of rooting for Natalie Portman for Jackie, just because the subtlety of the character is very well done. I think I liked this performance, even though her performance in Black Swan was incredible. Mm-hmm. I liked her performance in Jackie better. And Emma Stone did a very great job, especially with dancing and singing. And I think what's really interesting having a musical, because we don't have many musicals at the Oscars, is that the performance is also with the singing and the dancing, not just the acting. because I'm not sure about Elle, but a few of these are period pieces, or based off real people, so they have to pull from that. And Emma Stone is in present day, and it's similar, not autobiographical for her life, but she's an actress who's worked in Hollywood and tried to get roles in Hollywood, and so it's very interesting to see. She probably will win. A lot of people are saying this is her year to get it, but I would like Natalie Portman to get it. How about you guys?
John?
Yeah, I mean, you covered it really well, Ryan. I honestly think it will be Emma Stone, but I think Natalie Portman could slip in there, maybe even Isabelle Huppert. I've read a couple of reviews for Elle, and a lot of people were saying that, her performance was phenomenal. And I definitely want to check it out. Maybe next week, hopefully. Have to see if I can find the time, but so that way I can understand, why she was nominated. I'm not doubting it, because she may not be well known over here, but apparently in Europe and France specifically, she's like an international superstar there. So it could be like either of those three. I am sticking with Stone, though. I think this is, like you said, this is her year to win.
Yeah. Like you guys, without seeing Hubert's performance, it's hard. I know it's contemporary.
Yeah.
I know it's a controversial subject that we can't, without giving a lot of away, it's a woman dealing with something that happens to her. And having seen some of her other performances, I could see where people would gravitate towards that performance. So that'll be nice to see. I'm going to be the spoiler. I'm going to go with Ruth Negga on this. I know she has a snowball's chance on this.
Yep.
But for her performance in Loving, I've seen her. She's on AMC's Preacher.
Yep.
And very over the top.
Oh,
in
yeah.
her face. To see that juxtaposition of playing the character in Loving, you could see the restraint, I think, about the humanity and the realization that her actions had consequences. So she was very careful in her consequences. I mean, I'm with you guys. I think Emma Stone will likely win.
Yep.
And it's a good performance.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's her best.
Yep.
But I think, again, it was something that tapped into a lot of people. I mean, people tapped into that character. So I think it's a very worthy of a win. But I'm really rooting for Ruth Negga.
And I think what will be interesting if Isabelle wins is that we'll have kind of the same situation when Marion Cotillard won a few years ago, where it's a French film that
La Vie en Rose,
where a majority of the public, the American public, probably did not see. But I think if she wins, it might be what happened with Marion Cotillard, where she's in more American films. But I think probably Stone will get it. So what is the third category that we have left? Dawn?
actor in a leading role.
Yes.
Is that you?
Oh, yep, sorry. And for actor in a leading role, we have Casey Affleck from Manchester by the Sea, Andrew Garfield, Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling, La La Land, Viggo Mortensen, Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington for Fences. What do you guys think?
All very good performances.
Mm-hmm.
Two I would take out of this category. As much as I enjoy the performances, Andrew Garfield, Denzel Washington. Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Denzel Washington for Fences.
Mm-hmm.
I could put those two aside and not have a problem with that. Ryan Gosling, again, one of my favorite actors of the modern era. Mm-hmm. But of course, I really like Nice Guys better than I like La La Land, his performance. So for me, it's coming down to Casey Affleck and Viggo Mortensen. Mm-hmm. And I know, again, he doesn't have a chance, but I'm in the Viggo Mortensen camp because I think Captain Fantastic
was fantastic.
It was just a very engaging performance.
Oh, yeah.
And it took a very unsympathetic role and made you question it. Yeah. So, what about you guys?
I just recently saw Hacksaw Ridge, and I did like Andrew Garfield's performance, but it's definitely one of his best. I didn't see Silence. I know John said that he liked him better in that than Hacksaw. This was originally thought to be Denzel's category, especially when Fence's trailer came out and people were like really on that. I'll go back with Ryan Gosling saying there's multiple things he had to do for his performance. But man, Casey Affleck was very subtle. And there's a few scenes when that subtlety is broken, which is good. So you see a nice range. And it'd be nice for Casey to get this. So I'm going to go with Casey. How about you, John?
Yeah, actually, so Denzel got the SAG, so it kind of, people have now been saying, oh, well, the balance maybe tipped now. There's a chance that it could be the race between Casey and Denzel. Now, I like Denzel in Fences. I thought he was great, but granted, he's done that role like 100,000 times.
Oh, yeah.
Not 100,000, obviously, but quite the exaggeration. But, he definitely had a grasp on his character. But Casey Affleck genuinely surprised me with his performance. I didn't know what to think of it. All I had been hearing since like last year, actually, when it came out, I believe it's on Dance. I'm not exactly sure, but a lot of people were saying like Casey Affleck is going to have the Oscar. And I would like to believe that. I still think Casey had the best performance of the year. And like you said, Ryan, he was very subtle, but it was so powerful and really surprising. It's definitely his best performance of his career, in my opinion. And I really want him to win. But, I mean, if Denzel wins, that's great. He's a great actor. But I really want it to be Casey.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did well. I mean, my concern with Denzel in this role, in this nomination, was it was more of a stage theatric than a film theatric. So that's where I kind of knock him out, because I think had he had a different director, not himself, that it might have been a little bit more engaging. It was just, I didn't connect with that character, and it was more that the character was speaking at you, not bringing you into the dialogue. And that was part of what the character did. But Casey just melded into that, as I think Viggo did for Captain Fantastic. So I'd be happy with either one of those two. Again, I think Casey Affleck might get that for Manchester by the Sea.
And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Cinema Hits and Misses with John, Don, and me, Ryan. And if you're just tuning in, we were talking about the Oscars. We started at 7:30 early. Thanks. Thank you to Duke for giving us this extra time. And if you want to call in, you can. It's 780-4909. And we're in our last category. And that is Best Picture.
Do you want to take it or do you want me to take it?
Don, you can take it.
Oh, because there are 9 nominations.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so, yes, this year, the Academy of Arts and Sciences did take in 9 nominations.
Out of a possible 10.
Out of a possible 10. And that would be Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. Wow. There's really not a bad one in this list. But what is Academy Award worthy? Or popularity worthy?
Difficult question.
Well, if you go by what normally wins and the checklist of what normally is nominated, a few of them definitely hit that.
Is it easier to take out what we don't think will win?
Yeah, but I think between Don and I that one of those things will not be the same. I think we might be able to agree that Fences we would take out.
Yeah.
We're gonna play some. I'm gonna guess. Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
Hell or High Water. Maybe. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Right.
Arrival. Okay, so now we're down to Lion. I know Don really enjoyed Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden Figures, which Don really enjoyed as well.
I enjoyed
Yes,
most of these.
yes, you enjoyed most of these.
Yeah.
So, which brings us down to actually my top three. And at
What are
this
your
point,
top three, Ryan?
my top three are Moonlight, Manchester by the Sea, and La La Land.
You pretty much have my top three too, Ryan. But
And this is so hard.
it is, but I will start first.
Okay,
I'm saying
John.
I'm going with my heart on this one again. Just based also on a bunch of award shows. A bunch of the other Guild Awards and that. I believe it will be La La Land. And I know that's probably going to have a lot of people groaning and rolling their eyes, but I honestly think it's that. But I do think Moonlight does have a chance to slip in. I don't know how the Academy is going to vote.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be really between either of those two. As much as I like Manchester, I don't really know if it will get pushed through to get that win, especially because it has such tough competition. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Moonlight. There's a bunch of elements that make it work, and it is honestly my favorite movie of the year. So I kind of wanted to win. Yeah, I don't know how you two feel, but
I like Moonlight because it took chances.
Mm-hmm.
It was engaging. It made a couple of subject matters accessible to a broader audience.
Yep.
So I could easily see that thing. And then Manchester by the Sea, I think also hit on notes for people. A little bit darker turn, so maybe not. I mean, as a film audience member, my top two would have been either Hidden Figures or Lion, just because I was so engaged with it. It was a full narrative. I wanted to spend more time with those characters. I don't think either one will get it, but I think they certainly deserve to be there. La La Land, I enjoyed. I think solid performances, but I think I'm going to be leaning either towards Manchester or Moonlight.
I really love La La Land so much. I wouldn't be surprised if Moonlight took it because of, like you mentioned, it hit all the right notes and took chances. It'd be really cool if Manchester by the Sea won because Manchester by the Sea was produced by Amazon. And it'd be really interesting to see a website have a Oscar-winning movie. I think.
And it's New England based, and we know people who worked on it and played in it.
I think the safe choice would be La La Land, and like John said, it's getting so many awards. And I think it's more out of the three, even though the public doesn't vote. Out of all the movies, I think La La Land is the most
I think Hidden Figures.
Oh, Hidden Figures too, yeah. I think those two are very. They're both very positive.
In the box office, I think
Definitely showed that. So I think I'm gonna say La La Land's gonna win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Moonlight overtook it. I think for some people that might be an upset just because of the praise the praise La La Land is getting, but also there is a wide group of people who did not like La La Land. So, and this year is also the first year there's more people voting. Unlike the past few years, they added a lot more members to vote. So it'll be really interesting to see which one takes it.
Yeah. Like I said, I really wouldn't be too surprised if Moonlight won. I guess just as long as Damien Chazelle got Best Director. I feel like I said, I almost feel like there has to be kind of like, that it's one or the other. I mean, you can't have both, but if one gets Best Picture, I feel like the other should get Best Director. It almost only seems fair, but it's obviously up to the Academy to decide those things. So yeah, it's between either La La Land or Moonlight. But there's some there's definitely like if you try to weigh against them against each other, there's definitely a lot of things that like counteract. Like there's some great performances, there's some great technical things like cinematography, there's great scores. I know Moonlight was not nominated, or was it? I'm kind of blanking now.
It was. Moonlight was. So
Moonlight was nominated for score.
Yeah, so that
was very good too. It's like this classical string music.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot you can compare, but and really they're really like all of them are definitely deserving of to be nominated. But I definitely think it will come down to Moonlight or La La Land. Go La La Land.
Yeah, and to our listening audience, I know that we've been kind of bouncing around on several of these, and that just shows the great wealth of some of the movies that are out there that you can see. And certainly Gail and Terry addressed some of this last week, and they talked about their favorite movies and hinged on a little bit of this. I mean, there were obviously movies that didn't make this list. They talked about those. And, the good thing for you, our listening audience, is that many of these movies are in theaters now.
Yes.
Or
on DVD. I recently got to see Hacksaw Ridge finally on it's in Redbox. And so is Manchester by the Sea.
Hell or High Water should be there as well.
Yep, Arrival just came out too, and Fences should be in theaters, and so should Hidden Figures.
Yeah, I know.
And Moonlight, I believe, is supposed to be coming out next week on the 28th, if I read that correctly. I have to double check, but
good for them.
Because I know that Patriot Cinemas Nickelodeon tends to show. I think most of these are there. Probably some of the Cinemagic theaters are there. So, there's a lot of opportunity. I think the only one, the animated ones might be a little tougher.
Yeah, the Red Turtle, I believe, is on DVD. And all the rest, Moana is still in theaters. Kubo and Zootopia are on DVD. My Life as a Zucchini will probably be on DVD in a few months. Yeah.
So we made it.
Yeah.
It was an hour-long show.
Yeah.
We want to thank, again, Duke for giving us the extra half hour, and certainly to Justine.
Thank you, Justine.
Who came in early to help us with that. And actually, it's 8:30, so it's time for Between the Notes. John, Ryan, Dawn here, signing off. We'll be back next week with
Get Out and A Cure for Wellness.
Probably not Oscar-nominated movies, but a little bit of fun. So thanks for joining us. John, thanks for calling in.
Thanks, John.
Well, thank you for having me.